So, hello, welcome to this stream. It's my first big stream of 25, no, it's 50 NL actually, and we are live on one table and I'm on the waiting list on two others, but I'm planning to only play two tables today because the idea is that I can concentrate more, I can talk more, I can pay attention a lot more to exploits than if I play four tables. So although this is not Zoom, I still think it's quite good. Right, here we have Ace King. We could go either way. Can check, we can bet. I'll go the more passive route now, and if he bets now, I'm looking to call this one with my two overs, and the ace high might be good. And now we have top pair, top kicker. Feeling pretty good about it. He bet 7 big blinds. I think if he had made it smaller, I would have considered raising. There's not really... I mean, I could raise. It might be not be too thin, but I think it's okay. It's an unknown player. I don't know who he is, so let's just do it. And we got lucky there. He had Jack 10. He went for kind of a big bet there on the river. I mean, yes, the king was not great for me in theory. It wasn't a card that would favor my calling range, so he can go for a bet there, but I still think it's a bit thin, especially with Jack 10, because I might still have better 10s there, and I don't really know what he can get value from. Yes, maybe some underpair to the 10, but it's getting quite thin there on his side. So I'll put that into the notes. Value bets thinly. Bet river 75% with Jack 10 on Jack XXX King. So that's just for future reference if we play another pot. And that's exactly what I mean. What I'm trying to do here is to just get a little more out of the players, just get some better reads rather than just playing like in the old Zoom format that I used to do with two-tabling Zoom, where you just press fold most of the time. Right, here we have pocket tens under the gun. This is one where I want to c-bet quite big on 933. Yes, normally you would go quite small, but on 9 high boards I'm quite polarized when I bet here. I want to bet big, and I don't expect to ever be beat really. So, and if he has fours through eights and even deuces, he will definitely call. So that's why I went for the bigger size there. But unfortunately, he folded. And now 8-5 off is my first proper fold of the day. So yeah, we don't have any HUD stats here. That's not because I don't like using a HUD, but because we just aren't allowed to use HUDs on Coinpoker. So let me know what you think about that. I think I'm actually quite excited about that because this is like more the genuine form of poker. I really enjoy playing more for exploits and really trying to see who has what tendencies rather than always just following what the HUD says, and that's why I quite like this, and I am excited to pursue on this avenue, especially with Coinpoker. This seems such a great site. I'm really enjoying it. Some crypto fans here. Not that I'm a crypto fan. I actually haven't really dabbled in cryptos myself, but now I kind of had to, and I'm very happy about that. But I'm not so happy that I can't get a seat anywhere other than this one table here. But fair enough. let's just watch the action then. So this guy raised and both blinds called. Don't know how I can. Oh yeah, here. This is how I can color code players. It's good to know. I'm still very new to this platform, so still figuring things out, but I'm already much better now than I was on Saturday when I did my first stream, the first 2NL one. And today for the 50NL, I am already a little more knowledgeable. I have managed to change the color of the table felt. I know how to get my preferred seat to the bottom right, because on Saturday everything was all over the place. Okay, so that guy rivered the king there, king 10. He called with 9-8 in the small blind. That's a little bit loose, but I guess if he has information about nothing happened, then that is probably not a bad thing to do if you know something about him. Right, so if you have any questions, guys, please fire away. I'm all here for questions. But let's just do a bit of commentary of the action that I'm seeing on this table. Although, to be fair, I haven't paid attention on this exact hand now because I was busy calibrating my screen. So if I can see that there is a table open, I would love to, or a seat open rather, on another table, I would love to join. So yeah, as I said, fire away with questions. If not, I'm just going to try to do some live commentary here. Not the obvious things that you can see, but anything strategic or any mistakes that I can see other players if I'm not involved. And I would really love to play a second table, but as I said, at the moment there are no free seats available on any other table than this one. 4-3, definitely gonna fold under the gun. So yeah, this is quite interesting here on Coinpoker. We have 7 seats per table rather than the 6 max or the 8 or 9 max. And I think the 7 is kind of a decent compromise here to have a little bit more than the 6 max, but not in a way that it kills the action like in a 9 max game where, I mean, I say kill the action, it's not like there's no action at all, but you just have to play so tight from under the gun there that it kind of makes it a bit more boring for a recreational player. So I think the 7 max is a really good compromise. Okay, we have Jack 9 suited now in the big blind. Let's see if the small blind raises. He does raise. He raises to 3.5x. I could go for the 3-bet, but here I'm choosing to call. Got 2 overs and gut shot. I'm going to go for the bet now that he skipped the c-bet. We might get check raised, but if we do, we still have a call here. Yeah, that's what I kind of expected him to do, but that's all right. We have 2 overs and the gut shot and a backdoor flush draw, so definitely calling. This gives us even more equity now. And now I am going to check on this one, take my equity, and unfortunately we just missed. The thing is, I think he could easily have an ace there when he takes this line. Then again, I do want to just, I kind of have to, well, I don't have to, but I am going to bluff this river and we get a fold. That is really good to see. So yeah, why did I... Well, where can I replay this? Sorry, just have to see where this is the replay thing. Right, so the reason why I bet this river was, although I had... So the thing is, like, the problem was that I basically blocked a lot of bluffs. They probably have the worst blockers possible, except for a 7 of diamonds maybe. But I still, that was the only way I could win the hand, and I just thought he wasn't that strong, and also the ace, if he had the ace, I expected him kind of to bet the river, and because he can check raise without the ace, but then I thought if I bet quite big there, he could even fold a hand like queens maybe. But yeah, he snap folded, so I think he was just messing around there with pretty much nothing, or maybe he had some overcards to the flop as well. And yeah, I think we got a little bit lucky there, because I don't think it was the best bluff in the world, but it was still an okay bluff to go for, because it's the only way we can win. Okay, so here on Coinpoker we have an ante in play. As you can see, it's 0.6 big blinds, and that means that we can play a little bit looser than normally. Now, I haven't studied much how it is, like how the ranges should change. I know they should just become a bit wider in pretty much any position, but yeah, we'll see. We'll adapt to that as we go along. And here we go. We have a seat. That is excellent. So let's see. We have to wait for the big blind, so still quite a while to go, but we will have 2 tables now, which is great. So yeah, I've been doing well so far. I haven't lost a hand yet, but that's only a matter of time, obviously. And let's see what this hand brings for these 2 players. This guy is tanking for a while there. Okay, he had a flush. Interesting. Just want to see this hand again. The development of it. So what happened? This guy. Oh, this is moving a bit slowly. Well, I don't know what's going on. I can't really do this, but let's concentrate on the current hand then instead. The raise, and quite a big 3-bet in the cutoff. It's unusual, but maybe with these antes, not even that bad. Ace 8 off in the big blind. And here on the table on the right we'll also join the action very soon. Okay, there is a fairly big raise of 3x. This is very marginal now, but I am going to call with the ante. I think it's just about justifiable. He checks, which is good news. We can now check again. We have top pair, no kicker. And now that he hasn't done anything, I am going to bet this one. Should I go? Can go. Maybe this is a bit too big. Something like this. King 8. I'm going to fold on the right table. And he calls and he mucks. Excellent. Let's go. Getting some value there. I didn't want to go too big because there was a flush there and he could still be slow playing a good ace. Well, not even necessarily slow playing, but just not wanting to value bet it because the flush is there. Okay, here on the right we have ace king on the button. The table seems to be a bit on the nittier side. So let's see. But we had a raise there, so definitely going to... Oops. No, 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 not all in, not all in, not all in. 10 big blinds. Oof. This I have to get used to this. I almost went all in there with my ace king, which I think wouldn't even be an absolute disaster with ace king, but it's not great. So I don't know anything about Mr. P19, so if we get 4-bet, we'll have to take it as it comes. But we don't get 4-bet, he just folds and we win. So Jack 6 off, obviously folding that one. Yeah, so the raise sizes seem to be a bit bigger here in Coinpoker because of the ante, I presume. So I've seen a lot of 3x raises, especially on the button, but even other positions. So I guess I am not going to continue with my min raises from under the gun. Nine five is definitely a fold. Yeah, so if anyone of you has played on Coinpoker, let me know what you think. And in the meantime, we have pocket threes in the big blind. There was a min click, and unfortunately there is a 3-bet, which means that we will now have to fold our pocket threes. I'm not in the business of cold calling 3-bets. And so let's go and fold. And we would have whiffed the flop anyway, so I'm okay with that. Pocket nines, and I think now with pocket nines we can go for a 3-bet, and he folds. So I think he opened 3 times in the small blind now against me, out of 3 times. Oh, and here, actually, what I meant to do was I want to change the seat. There we go. Now we have the seat on the right button on both tables. Okay, lots of diamonds there. Oh yeah, also I changed the colors to this 4-color system here compared to my stream on Saturday, where people said that they couldn't really make out the cards, and to be fair, I couldn't myself. I thought I had ace 8 suited at some point, and in reality they were not suited. So to avoid these mistakes, now I have a much clearer deck with 4 different colors, and I think that should work much better. 10-9 off in the cutoff will be a fold either way. A6 off as well. And what do they have here? They're chopping with ace no kicker. Jack 10 off would have been a fold anyway from the low jack. And sadly we have to fold this as well. Okay, do we want to accept this third table? I will say no for now. I'm actually leaving this. Where are we? 10-7 is definitely a fold. Sorry, I'm just playing around with the layout here for a bit. But now we should have it. Yeah, so this stream feels much more chilled than my usual ones, or what used to be my usual ones, the Zoom ones on PokerStars. I think here there's a lot, yes, there's a lot less action, but I think it's more quality. We are able to observe players a bit better, although I realize I'm not doing a great job so far. But we have won every hand in this first almost half hour, so it's gone well. Maybe that's also skewing things a bit. But let's see, this is quite a big pot here now. On the right. Jacks versus Ace King. Ooh, this was quite ambitious, the shove here by Pocket Jacks once the King comes there. But then again, yeah, you just don't necessarily expect a lot of King X to call the flop. So, actually, no, it wasn't too ambitious. You were just got unlucky that the guy had the one hand with Ace King that he won't fold there. Right, Jack 7 suited. We can call this one. And we flop middle pair and a backdoor flush draw. That's good news that he checks. No reason to bet on the turn either. Yes, we could do with protection, but if we need protection, there's not that much. Sadly, this is a very bad card because now we lose to an ace and there is not that much we can do. There is basically no value at all. If he bets, we have to fold, but he doesn't, thankfully, so that is really good. Unfortunately, we don't get to see what he had because he mucked. But that's good, but that was the only way we could win. Yes, it was a showdown. I would have considered betting the river if any other card, anything else than an ace or a queen would have come. But then the queen came and we would have lost to an ace, but he must have had some under pair. But yeah, I was saying there is absolutely no reason to bet the turn there, because there is not much worse that we can get called by, and definitely nothing better folds. So if he has pocket queens or a better jack, that will absolutely always call there. And anyway, I would have bet for value, but there is not much value to be had. On the river, it's different. Like, if the river is a brick, then we can try, because then he might think, well, we're just taking a stab, so he might call with an under pair or third pair or so. But definitely not once the queen comes and we lose to any ace, to any king, to any queen. And I didn't want to turn it into a bluff, because we still had some showdown value, and if he has, it was actually quite likely that he had an ace, given that he checked twice. So yeah, Coinpoker has been really good to me so far. Just waiting for the first downswing. I'm just not used to winning that many hands. Like in live poker, I've run so bad over the last few hundred hands. Not hands, hours, I mean, even. And that doesn't mean that I lost a lot, but it's just not been great. But also, we're not getting a lot of playable hands. Yeah, that is, of course, a disadvantage if you play two tables and you are a bit card dead for a while. But the advantage then is that we can really make a lot better exploits. We can observe the players. This table on the right seems to be a bit on the nitty side, but I'm still enjoying it. King Jack off is a raise. And the low jack would be kind of borderline under the gun, but here it is, fine. And this one we will have to give up. Definitely not calling a 3-bet out of position. And you could consider 4-betting, but I think if we don't have any information, I prefer not to do that. That's ace 4 rather than ace ace, so folding. Seven, 6 suited in the big blind. Okay, let's see what the action brings. This is a candidate to go for a 3-bet out of the big blind. This is the guy who called 3-bet with ace king earlier. So I think, yeah, we can definitely go for the 3-bet from the big blind. Obviously hoping that he folds, and he does fold. Excellent. Okay, ace 3, we are going to raise this one. This is bottom of range, but he folds, so I'm very happy with that. This guy 3-betting again now. Seems to be a bit on the aggro side. I'll give him the tag of an aggressive player, which for me will be the green tag. Queen 4 off, definitely a fold. Nine eight off on the button. It's very marginal. I am going to raise because there is an ante and because we flop top pair. Definitely going for a bet with top pair, and he folds. Happy with that too. Definitely happy with everything so far. Okay, I would have raised this one, but since he's doing it, I will fold. Yeah, so flop went check check here on the right, and he now overbets. And he calls. And now he checks, so after he overbet the turn, and he now checks. What's his range? Well, either a give up or an ace, but probably a give up. And yeah, once he snap folds, when the other player bets, then it's definitely a give up. A6 off. I hope none of you would raise this one under the gun. This is interesting hand here on the left. 9-3 off in the big blind. That's an exciting cracker hand. Come on, someone relieve me. Although a walk would be nice. Come on. Yes! A walk, my first walk of the day with 9-3 offsuit. We are getting so spoiled. Of course, yeah. 7-4 suited. Small blind is a fold, obviously, after we get raised. So I don't know if you know, but on Coinpoker you can request all the data afterwards, all the hands that you played, which I'm going to do from customer support. They can send you all the data, and then I can input them in my poker tracker so that I can see how I'm actually doing, because otherwise it's quite hard to track live. I mean, I can track to see how much money I won or lost, but it's not that easy to track, so that's why it's good that they have this option. Okay, so here we had a raise in the cutoff and the button cold called, which is quite unusual. So I'm gonna give him the red tag of a player who is a bit more on the passive side, because I think that's usually if someone calls on the button, not always, but usually that indicates or is indicative of someone who is a bit more on the passive side. We have a big 3-bet in the small blind to 12 big blinds. Not that there's something wrong with it. He gets called, and we can raise our king 3 suited. And we're getting raised. And with king 3 suited, I'm okay to just fold. Was worth the try. Okay, so here he c-bet. He didn't c-bet the flop, I think, but he c-bet really big, or he bet really big on the turn. Got called. Now the flush came in. He checked and he overbet jams. And he folds. Interesting. Jack deuce off. Can we get another walk? We cannot. The jackpot stands at 29,999 USDT. I'll have to actually ask what the jackpot is about. I don't know how I can win it. Is there any information of that? Well, this is not... Oops. Here we go. Bad B jackpot. Everyone's a winner. But we have some action. Where are we? Here we have to fold. So, what's the thing? How do we win? We are in action again. So we win with losing hand. Okay, 4 of a kind, 9s. Okay, fair enough. So if we lose a hand with quad 9s or better, we are entitled to the jackpot. Let's jump to 30,000. So if anyone's watching now, just come and say hi. I don't bite. Just write hi in the chat. Oh, and also if you're enjoying this, please leave a like, because that helps me a lot with the algorithm. Even though I do not like what's happening here. I'm getting 3-bet, quite big by the button. So just folding, that's fine. Ace-10, well, this is a bit marginal, the ace-10 off in a 7-handed game, but I think it's just about okay, especially with the ante. I'm fine. And pocket 6s, we can... What can we do? We can 3-bet them. With the ace-10, we just got it through. We're getting cold 4-bet now by the button, which is not good. Jack 9 off in a multi-way pot. I'm just going to fold. And, well, now this guy called as well. We are quite deep, but still, we are... This is, I'm not loving it, but I am gonna call. And now we are checking to the aggressor, and then just probably just folding. So yeah, I didn't get quite the odds, but the thing is, ooh, shoved. The thing is, if I had hit a set here with 2 players in the hand, I still think that I could have made my money. So, because when he cold 4 bets there, he has minimum ace king, I think. It's rare for a player pretty much at almost any level, except like maybe at the highest levels, to cold 4 bet with a bluff. So ace king is basically the bluff there. Okay, and don't know what he had. He's now tanking, so he probably doesn't have ace king, because I think ace king just snap calls there. And he folded. Okay, we can now raise. Okay. Right, so that was the first bigger hand. I mean, it wasn't even really big, but the first hand that we lost was more than like 3 big blinds invested. But I still think it was right to do so, because if we hit a set there and the 4 better had aces, kings, queens, and then the other player also has a decent hand, then we have a chance of getting both their money if we hit the set. So for an additional 11 big blinds, I think it was just about okay, but it's not a massively winning play, and most of the time I will lose. So it's okay. So 7-5 off, definitely a fold. Find it interesting that whenever a player wins and everyone folds to him, it says muck. To me, normally I'm used to from PokerStars, when it says muck, it's just like when you lose. But here on Coinpoker, you can muck as the winner. I mean, you can muck as the winner everywhere, but normally you don't call it mucking. I find that interesting here. So yeah, please apologize my layout here. I am gonna work on that. It will hopefully look much better soon, and you might even see me there, but at the moment I'm just still experimenting, still trying out, and I'm not the best tech whiz. But now we have pocket queens, which is quite interesting. So let's raise this guy with our pocket queens. On the button, we get cold called here, and there are 2 players who call us. So we are going to... Okay, well, I was going to say we are going to bet, but now he bets half pot. And when he bets half pot, could mean a lot of things. I'm definitely not folding, obviously. I considered raising, but when he bets half pot in a 3-bet pot, that is not really weak. So that could be a set there, but it could be a draw, it could be a jack. And him calling behind is not the best of news. And that's not great news either, to be fair, when he makes it so big now, like another half pot, and half pot is not big, but in this case it is. But I still think I can't fold at this point with an overpair. And everyone calls again, and the ace is interesting. Let's see. Now everyone checks. I'm happy to check behind as well. So let's see, and here we can bet, and we win it. Yes, so both had the jack there. That's excellent. Right, here on the right, I'm basically betting for protection. Not that I'm getting it, so he called. This will be a check now if he checks. He does check, and so let's check again, and now we have the flush, an 8 high flush, but so he can't have the ace or the queen, so he can have a king, a jack, or a 10. Probably doesn't have any of that, but I can't get much value, so I am happy to call. And he had pocket tens, and we got lucky there. Look how lucky we are getting left and right. Yeah, so I do want to review this hand if I can. Wait, oh yeah, there we go. Sorry, here we are. I want to fold. So he had Jack 10 and he had King Jack. Right, so that's kind of what I was hoping here. King 4 suited. Against under the gun, I'm just going to fold. I think it's very marginal. I could call, but it's very marginal. I would only call because of the ante anyway. Here we have to raise our ace-4 off. We get called. Okay, this is not great news. I'm going to start with a check on this monotone board. We have top pair, no kicker. Now we have 2 pair. So I think with 2 pair I'm happy to call because he might still have an ace. He might call us with a jack. He might call us with a king or the queen of clubs. And now unfortunately our 2 pairs get counterfeit, and at this point I could go for a really small bet, but I don't know a lot what I would get called by, so I check and he checks as well, and we win. That's how it goes. I'm glad that he didn't try to take a stab on the river, because I would probably have had to fold. There was an all-in here with jacks against ace-king. Right, so here, okay, still not getting to it. This is now we're getting all the good hands here. But no action with ace-king. That's fair enough. We got enough action with other good hands. So maybe now we have a chance to review this. So on Jack 9 deuce, this guy donked for half pot, and then I called up, and that's why I said I could have raised there, and maybe I could have even got it in against King Jack, but there is a chance that he folds, so I didn't want to do that. Obviously, I didn't quite expect this guy to also call. And then on the turn, same thing. Now he bets quite big, and when I say quite big, I don't mean really big in terms of the pot size, because it was only half pot, but 33 big blinds is quite a big bet, like at these stakes, even, or at any stakes if you look at the big blind. So that's why I'm happy to just call there. And then he called again, and he had a big draw there, obviously, although he was behind both of us, but he had a very nutted draw, so I can understand that he would call there even though he didn't have much behind. Okay, a6 suited, I will fold now because under the gun raised, and I'm under the gun +1, so I think at this point I need to fold. Okay, so still going very well. Don't want to jinx it. And we're getting our second walk of the day. 7 deuce off will be a fold no matter what. Ooh, aces against ace king. That's unlucky. Well, they're running it twice. Still not much help for ace king. I read the other day that apparently 3.7 million videos get uploaded onto YouTube every single day, which is mind-boggling. So thank you very much for watching me here. I know you have 3.7 million other videos just from today to watch. Of course, not all will be in English, and of course, hardly any will be on poker, but still, I'm very grateful to have you here on the stream. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think about the player pool here so far. But now we are getting 3-bet by this player who is kind of a more passive player. But we are getting a decent price with a hand that can crack big hands. But all we have is a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. I think this is already very close, but I think because of the two things that I just mentioned, I have to call. Now even have an open-ender. He still goes only half pot. I think I can get to stack him if we hit, so I am going to call this one. But unfortunately, on this river, we just break everything. He triple barrels this one, so we are definitely folding with our 8 high. So unfortunately, the first big pot of the day that we're losing, but I still think it was okay. The flop was a marginal call, yes. I mean, already pre-flop was marginal, flop was marginal, but I still think both were fine. And then on the turn, I would have folded if we hadn't picked up equity, but we picked up quite a bit of equity there. And I thought he must have a big hand because it was a passive player who 3-bet pre-flop, bet the flop, bet the turn. That's usually indicative of a quite big hand. So if we had hit our straight on the river, I'm pretty sure we would have gotten all his money. And he gave us, I think, 3-1, so we had to be good 25% of the time with one card to come, and it was about 17% for us to hit, but because of the implied odds, this was an okay call to make there too. And also the other consideration that is something that I rarely hear anyone talk about, but is quite an interesting point. That is the sorry, I was just reading the comment here. Someone asked if I feel games are softer on Coinpoker. I'm going to talk about that very soon. That's exactly what I was going to do anyway in a few minutes. So just let me finish my other thought if I can come back to it, which I can't do now. Which I'm okay. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, okay, let's talk about the softness on Coinpoker then. So first of all, what I'm saying now is just my observation after playing very little. So I played 1 hour and a half on 2NL on 4 tables, and now I've been playing for an hour here at 50 NL. So this is hardly a sample size that's worth really considering, but my impression so far from what I have seen here is, yes, Coinpoker is softer than other sites. Now it depends what you compare it to. If you are used to a super soft site, then maybe Coinpoker might feel hard for you. I don't know. Here we have 9-3 suited. I am going to put in a cheeky little 3-bet with this hand. And 9-6 off, I put a cheeky fold. And we get the fold here. Excellent. Yes, so, oh, and I also remember my other thought, which I will continue soon then. Yes, so I think they are a bit softer from what I have seen. So definitely 50NL on Poker Stars feels quite reggy, especially during the daytime in Europe. And here I can say that overall I feel like this is okay. This guy, let's just c-bet now because I limped and he was about to give up pre-flop already, so that's why I raised. So yeah, I feel like 50NL is definitely quite reggy on Poker Stars. That like you have a lot of reg battles. You get 3-bet and 4-bet all the time. That's like proper poker there. You really have to fight for your money. Whereas I think here, from what I have seen so far, this is not the case. I can definitely see that I have identified a few players who are more on the passive side, who are not like terrible. I haven't seen any big whales, but I have seen players who are just maybe not super strong. And that's why I am 3-betting a bit lighter here as well, also because of the antes, and usually they only fight back when they have it. As you can see, like my 3-bets have gone through most of the time. I mean, I haven't been 4-bet at all except one cold call, a cold 4-bet, sorry. But other than that, I haven't seen anything like that, which means that, yeah, that's seems quite promising. I mean, I have to do a bit more of this to really validate what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, 50NL here feels like like I mean, the 50NL on the reg tables on Coinpoker kind of feel at least as soft as 2NL Zoom on Poker Stars. Because 2NL Zoom on Poker Stars is, I mean, it's not hard by any means, a stretch of imagination, but it is still, you have to play like very solid to beat it. And I think that's kind of what 50NL is here. And then there's the other thing that I was saying earlier, and this is what I think what makes coin poker so great. It's the rake back that you get automatically, because on other platforms I never really understand how rake back works. And here you just get a flat 33%. So a third of what you pay in rake, you'll just get that back. And that is amazing. Like on top of everything that you play here and you make, even if you're breaking even, like the amount of rake you pay at like 50NL or even 100NL or so, if you do that, if you play for a few hours, you'll pay like $100 or so, and then you get a third of that back, which is like really good. So you can definitely grind a bankroll with that. And then the other thing, and that was my thought from earlier, when I said sometimes pre-flop it even makes sense to call a bit lighter, or even like in marginal spots, firstly because of the ante, and secondly because of the rake back. Now think about it for a second. If you call, you pay a little bit of rake there, which normally isn't great news, but if you pay a little bit of rake there, but you get a third of that back, that just makes it a tiny bit more lucrative for you to call there. So if the spot is marginal in GTO terms, when GTO doesn't know that you're getting any rake back, then that bit of rake back makes it worth it. And yes, we're not talking thousands here. We are talking smallish money. However, I think for me this is great. I really like to see that, and it makes it worthwhile. Also, it kind of encourages me to play a little wider, a little looser, which I do very rarely anyway. 7-6 suited looks so nice, but I will fold it. If you're a regular here on my channel, you'll know that 5-6 suited is my one hand that I like playing from early position as a suited connector, and I pretty much fold most other suited connectors because they are marginal hands. And yes, I know I just said about the rake and so on, and rake back and antes, so you could consider raising there, but still I wouldn't imagine that it's really positive EV either way. So We'll see if I do that in the future, that I might call or not. Okay, yeah, so if you have any more questions, please just fire them away. I'm on a little bit of a lag here, so if you ask me a question, just wait for a few minutes because I don't always see it straight away, and it only appears like about 2 minutes after you post it anyway, because I'm not really looking at the live stream that you're seeing. I can only see that a little bit later on my screen, but bear with me, I will definitely reply to any and every question that's getting asked. So yeah, definitely I think from what I can see so far, it's worth giving Coinpoker a try. Okay, ace jack 8 we have in the ace, but I am happy with such a weak ace to just check. And he is quite a passive player, so I can start, but I don't think I want to do that. I will just check again, and now on the river, when he checks again, now I will overbet this one. And the reason for that is because I think I would have heard from him if he had an ace or better, and if he has a king or a jack, or even maybe an 8, he might look me up, which unfortunately wasn't the case. But I don't think he's super elastic there. I don't think that if I go half pot or three-quarters pot, he will... I mean, he might fold a little less than now, but I still think that's okay. And here on the left table, I'm raising king 7 offsuit. Normally king 8 offsuit would be the bottom of my raising range, but because of the ante situation, I am happy to raise here. This is not a great flop for me, but I'm still going to c-bet it because c-bets outperform, and as you can see, they do indeed. He just folded, so I'm very happy with that. And that's what I mean with the field being quite soft from what I can see. I mean, at 50 NL, I think on PokerStars, I mean, yeah, of course, sometimes players will fold, but I'm just getting a lot of folds here everywhere. And that is good. Like, yes, they are nitty in some ways. So what you don't see here is players just dusting off their entire stack all the time, although some do a little, but that's not how I've won my money so far, mostly. They're just overvaluing stuff, and then on the other hand, if they don't have a good hand, they will just check fold quite often, as we just saw there. So this guy in the small blind, no offense, but I mean, he just called in the small blind pre-flop after a button raise, and then he just check folded on the flop of 10-9-8, which is great for me. I mean, I'm happy to make money this way. And as I said, I'm even getting a rake back of 33%, which I'm quite excited about. I've never been on a site where I got proper rake back. Because like on PokerStars, you get those chests. But as I said, I never really understood what those chests are. And yes, I mean, roughly, I mean, I'm not quite such an idiot to not understand what they are, but what I mean is I never really knew how much I had to play to get those chests, and then I got downgraded and upgraded depending on the volume that I put in, and then when you get downgraded, they delete whatever there was there, and you just don't have any of this here with Coinpoker. The only thing you have to do is you have to keep some of your money in CHP rather than in USDT. Queen jack off. I'm going to call against the button raise. And this is a pretty awful flop. Yes, we do have two overs, but I mean, even if we hit our pair, it wouldn't be amazing, so I just have to fold. Yeah, so you have to keep some of your money in CHP to receive rakeback, but then if you do, every Monday you get 33% of whatever you spend in rake. You get that back as rakeback, and I mean, that can be, I'll see how much it will be now after this week, because I think I got some. No, I didn't actually get any rake back today because I didn't have any money in CHP, so I would have been entitled to about 10 cents, I think, from the 2 NL that I played. But if you play like 50 NL, 25 NL, 100 NL or so, I think that, like, if you put in serious hours, you can easily get $100 a week from that. I mean, I don't know how easily really, but you can get it, like with 100 NL definitely. So 9-8 off on the button will be a fold no matter what. Ten three off. No, thank you. Okay, there is a raise in the low jack. We have jack 10 off. This is not an amazing call, but it is one, although not anymore, especially not if the passive player raises on 3 bets on the button. Jack 10 off under the gun is a fold. Another walk, yep, so it's the third walk that I got on the table on the right, whereas on the left I haven't had a single one. So that does suggest that it is a bit tighter here, the one on the right. And it's the second time that I have 7 deuce offsuit in the small blind. This time just going to fold it. I mean, what do I say this time? I folded it last time as well. I think it's always a fold for me. At a full house there. Ooh, now we're getting spoiled with the 7 deuce off. Okay. This one we can raise, a7 suited, the hijack. I'm going to c-bet this one small. Here on the left I would have considered calling on the small blind, but now with a 3-bet I'm folding. Here now I am going to bet again on this turn now that we've picked up some more equity. And sadly he calls. And at this point I think I have to give up. Like I will just give up with my ace high, and he did have a 10 there. Okay, yeah, so I think would have been quite ambitious to try to bluff him off the 10. But I still think it was okay to bet the turn. I mean, the flop is quite indifferent. I can bet, I can check, but usually betting performs a bit better at low stakes. So that's why I did that. And then on the turn, once he called the flop, he can still have ace highs, he can have under pairs that he'll fold, he can have a 9 that he'll fold. Obviously he won't fold a 10, and I had enough equity there with that, because even if he calls, yes, if he has a 10 then the ace is not an out, but the flush outs are still there and the straight out, so I still had enough equity. And then once I break there, I didn't really see a point in triple barreling it, and it's good that I didn't, because I don't think I would have gotten him to fold queen 10 there. Right, we have another question here, I think. Do you know if Swedish players are allowed to play on the side? I saw there is no license, so I'm worried we have to pay taxes. And can I register and play free rolls without depositing anything? Right, so I answered this question, I think you asked it on Saturday as well, but you might have left before I answered it. So there are a few things to that to say. So to the last one, that's easier to answer. Yes, you can play free rolls without depositing any money, so you can just do that. You can still use my link below there, and then in case you do want to add some money, then you would still get the 150% for that. But if not, you're absolutely fine to just play free rolls there. And the other question, well, I'm not a legal expert on poker in Sweden, unfortunately, which might come to a surprise, as a surprise to you. But so here's what I would say to that. So on the one hand, I don't think Swedish authorities would have a way of finding out anything about that, but I don't know, and I wouldn't recommend doing anything that's against the law anyway. So what that means is that whatever the laws are in your country, you have to obey them. Now, I'm getting 4-bet now by this really passive player once again. I do not love this, but on the other hand, ace king suited, I have to call, but I'm definitely not gonna jam this one. And yeah, now this is good and bad at the same time. So he's shoving. When he shoves there, I think I have to call. Like, the SPR is just over 1. He might have aces or queens, but whatever. And I'm basically only hoping to chop, but I still have to call. And yeah, we both have the same hand, and we're chopping both of those. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, so that was basically the best case scenario. That's why it wasn't a snap call, but it was a call, so all good, all fine there. Right, so back to the question in Sweden. So yeah, I mean, you have to do what you um, think. Like the other option that you can do is you can ask the customer support at Coinpoker what they think, but I can't give you any legal advice there other than just follow the rules in your country. So yeah, that's all I can say. But in terms of like the practicality on it, I'm pretty sure that you can deposit money and you can get a rake back and all of that on Coinpoker. The question is only whether it's legal for you in your country and you should therefore do it or not. But in terms of practicality, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't allow that, because I think anyone in the world can play pretty much. I don't know if there are any restrictions for anyone. Like as long as you verify your email address, you can play on Coinpoker, and it's completely anonymous. So yeah, that's all I can really say to this. So also today I'm not giving away any tickets or so here because I've just started with all this, but there will be tickets. So I have quite a healthy budget to give away every month. So Coinpoker have been very generous, so you can get tickets. I don't even know exactly what they're for, but I assume there's some tournament tickets, and I will talk more about that in due course. So for now, all I know is that I will be getting those tickets, but I have to ask myself what they actually mean, because so far I've not really understood that. But I still think, yeah, that's definitely exciting times, and I hope that you will come back to my stream in the future and yeah, you'll get these tickets then. And also I have another channel, if you don't know, that's called Live Poker Guide. So everything relating to live poker. However, I am going to stream some games there too. I might even have some games where I play against the community, maybe some free rolls and lots of giveaways and ask me anything and things like that. So if you're not subscribed to the Live Poker Guide, then I would recommend doing it. Obviously I would, because it's my channel and I'm biased, but I think that good things are coming there, and that's why it's quite an interesting one for you to keep an eye on as well. So I'll be doing this on both channels. I will have the main streams here on this channel because, as I said, the other one is more live poker focused, but at the same time I will have sessions there as well, and those will be the bigger ones, the ones where you can win even more. And yeah, so I hope you'll join me on this journey either here or there or on both platforms. But yeah, I don't want to sound like this is the end of it, because it's not. I'm still going to go on and play for quite a bit longer today. So, and I think I'm going to stream for longer in the future anyway. Well, let's see. Now we have ace 8 suited. Let's see what develops here. This guy raises. This is one where I want to 3-bet. It's quite marginal, the 3-bet, but I have the excuse now that there is an ante and that I get some rake back, and because of that I can go slightly wider than I normally would, and we get it through anyway, so no rake back or ante needed for that. We're just making money there. So Cyrus, yes, you're welcome for the Swedish answer. So if any of you have other questions, just fire away. I'm very happy to answer all of them. Still have time. Also, if there's anything strategy related that you would want me to go over. I'm always happy to help. Yeah, we haven't had a cooler yet, so just waiting for that. Okay, pocket sixes in the low jack. So normally if I play 2NL, this would be a fold, but because of the high rake and because there are no antes. But here there are antes in play and the rake is a little more bearable and I get a rake back. I'm not getting tired of saying that. And because of that, pocket sixes is definitely an open in the low jack. And we get folds all around anyway, so happy with that. So sorry, I'm just pressing a lot of hearts here on the chat. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, basically you're all getting hearted for your comments, for your support. Right, 10-7 suited in a multi-way pot here against this fairly passive player. And I think I want to join the action. And I could consider leading out here. Do I want to? I am going to lead out because if they have overcards, yeah, this guy folded. I kind of expected that, but he calls, and that's just not a good one now. I am going to check because the double paired board, if he had an ace that he called with or an over pair, he will definitely call. Now the thing is we still don't beat anything here. So we can now pretend to have an ace, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to bet 11 in the hope that if he has like pocket 7s, 6s, 8s, that he would fold now. Because I could have a 4, I could have a 3, I could have an ace. It's unlikely that I have a flush, but he might be worried that I have one as well. But unfortunately, we get called by pocket sixes. Yeah, that's the kind of hand that I expected him to have. I just hoped that he would fold it, which he didn't do. So, fair enough. We stuck our hand into the cookie drawer and got caught. Happens. Okay, I'll make a note. Caught me bluffing. Though green is aggressive, I think this guy is more on the passive side. This guy is also more on the passive side. Well, right, passive, honest, fast plays, good hands like ace, king, like e.g. shoves ace, king on king XX with 2 spades or so. It's just useful to know if I happen to be in a big hand with him. What was my note on him? I didn't make a note here, okay. Okay, sorry that I'm being a bit quieter now, but not much happening. A6 off will be a fold. Okay, I would have considered calling there, but definitely not with this 3-bet. King 10, small blind will be a fold. So Sidrus asks in the hand with a 10-7 suited, do you not achieve the same result if you bet kind of small? Betting big looks more like a bluff in my opinion. Um, yes, I don't disagree that you would probably achieve the same with a smaller bet, and I would have made it a bit smaller now. I think the pot was 13 big blinds and I made it 11. So yes, now in hindsight I would probably make it 8 or 9, but I would still make it kind of significant because a hand like pocket sixes, and that's exactly the kind of range that I assigned him, wouldn't fold if I make it third pot or even just half pot. I think you do have to go 2/3 or 3/4. But yes, I could have made it slightly on the smaller side. But the other thing is, like, if I wanted to be balanced, which I don't really want against that player at 50 NL, but if I wanted to, what I could have done, sorry, I just have to 3-bet my king jack off here. So if I had wanted to be balanced, then I would have gone quite big with my ace x there as well, because then if he calls with any bluff catcher, then I'm happy with the ace. So in terms of balance, you'd want to go with the same size, but obviously here I wouldn't want to. So what I would do then probably is go even smaller with the ace x to make sure that a hand like pocket sixes calls me, whereas I wanted to go a little bit bigger. But yeah, I mean, it does look like a bluff, but then again, as I said, there is just so much. Like, I could have had the 4 or a 3 in the first place there when I do that, and then I could. Yeah, so I could have done that if I had wanted. Sorry, no, I'm talking rubbish now. But what I meant was I could have. No, I don't know what I was gonna talk. I'm getting my brain is mushy now because I was just reading the continuation of Cyrus's comment that says maybe check the hand in solver if you use GTO Wizard. Yes, I do use GTO Wizard, and this is a very good one to do indeed. The only trouble is I would have to find it because I don't have the hand history now, and I don't. But I think I kind of do remember. Yeah, I do remember what it was actually. To be fair. And so yeah, I will be able to look that up. I don't want to look it up now during the stream for the simple reason because I don't want the software to detect that I am using GTO Wizard for some. I don't want to have be accused of using an RTA or anything like that. Not that GTO Wizard is anything like that, but just I do not use solvers while I have a poker client open, just out of principle, because I don't want to get myself into trouble. But yeah, it's a good idea, and you are right, and it is an interesting spot, definitely. So I will analyze it, and maybe I can share the result next time. Okay, ace 9 off would have been a fold anyway after raise and a call. And now we got the 3-bet from the small blind. So has any of you ever played on Coinpoker? Would be interesting to find out. That was a Coinpoker virgin until a few days ago. I actually played a free roll tournament before I credited my account. Ooh, I got aces now. That's exciting. And yeah, what happened there was like I won my first hand. It was a 3-way all in with something like ridiculous, like Queen 10 or so. Oh, sadly, we probably won't get any action. Yeah, no action at all with our aces. Okay, well, what can we do? And yeah, I tripled up in my first hand there in the free roll. In the end, I managed to win 5 cents in the free roll, so that was a kind of a good start on my coin poker journey. Well, why didn't you raise when I had the aces? That would have been nicer. Yes, Asidra says and understands it now. I'm not used to playing against balanced opponents. No, to be fair, I'm not really used to that either. I play mainly live 1-2, 1-3, a little bit of 2-5, and yeah, some players there are balanced, but normally I'm not too worried about balance. That's why I was saying like I didn't need to balance that play necessarily, but if you wanted to, then you would go a bit bigger there. I just really thought that in the moment that size would be good, but it's hard. Like I hear that from a lot of streamers. Like we try our best when we stream, but when you play 2 tables and you talk at the same time, it's not quite as easy, and you only have a few seconds to make a decision anyway. And that's not an excuse, but it's just like I'm not playing my absolute A game. I don't know if I would have found that smaller bet there anyway, because as I said, I do think instead of going 11 big blinds, about 8 or 8.5 would have been the better size. I would have saved myself a little bit of money, but yeah, hindsight's 2020, and we are in 2025, if you pardon my joke. Well, we're still doing all right, despite having been caught bluffing, and despite bricking twice when we were on a draw, but we won decent money with a hand where we had queens and got a few bluffs through, small ones, mainly pre-flop, but hey, it all adds up, and that's all good and nice. So yeah guys, now is your chance to ask me questions. While the game is a bit slow, I'm happy to answer them, whether they're strategy related or coin poker related, or if you want to know what my shoe size is, or anything, now is the time to ask them here in the chat. So yeah, later tonight I have a video coming out in about 2 hours from now. I have a video coming out on my other channel called Live Poker Guide. So the channel is called Live Poker Guide, and my video is about Donald Trump and poker. I don't know if you're interested in that at all, but yeah, I analyzed what Donald Trump's impact on poker will be, both on live poker and online poker and crypto poker and so on. And I found a few fascinating things there. So if that is something that interests you, make sure to join it, whether you're a fan of Donald or not. It doesn't matter. I only analyzed his involvement, not involvement, but his impact on poker, and I do not care about other things on my poker channel here. So whether you like him or not, that might be something interesting for you to watch. Just saying. So it's on Live Poker Guide if you are interested. Okay, King 5 suited. I'm just gonna call. Could 3-bet this, but now just calling. If he c-bets to a reasonable size, I will float this. This is a reasonable size. Definitely going to float this with my king high and being in position. If he bets again, now I will fold, which he does. It goes quite big, and I have to fold. Ooh, ace queen. And pocket kings. Look at this. There's a raise in early position. And we're getting 3-bet by the big blind. I don't like that. I'm just going to fold. I could 4-bet as a bluff, but I don't want to do that. So here we are obviously going to 3-bet our pocket kings to 11 big blinds. And let's see what he does. He does call. Queen 9-4. I'm going to start with a range check. We're only really afraid of an ace. And if he bets, I'm going to go for the check raise. Which it doesn't do. So now we are starting to put some money into this pot. Let's go with about half pot. And here I am going to limp on the small blind. We get raised, so now we can fold, but I still think limping is a decent strategy at this point. And the ace is really not great, but I still think there's a chance. I'm going to go quite, let's just go 14, but here I want to, oh, there is a, I have to call now because I was running out of time. Here I'm going to go small, and I didn't mean to. I was gonna 3-bet this on the button, but I had to call because otherwise I didn't want to fold there. I got to panic, so that's fine. And now we're getting raised, we're getting jammed on, and I think we now have to fold because unless he bluffed this one. Okay, I'm going to go with an overbet here on the right and fold my kings here. Like, he can have queens, he can have nines, he can have ace queen there, he can have ace king. And on this river, if he checks to me, I will check behind. I don't think I can get 3 streets of value, but unfortunately, oh, this is ugly now. He just donks on this river. So he saying that he has a 9 basically. So he could have, how can he have 9s? He can have 8. How can he have 9? Jack Jack 9, 10 9, even 9 8. That's low played. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see him have bluffs. I just don't see a bluff there. Like what would his bluffs be? He would have to turn a hand like King 10 into a bluff. And could I beat some of his value? Not impossible. Could I beat Ace Jack or so? But I think fold was still the correct play. So what do we have here? Ace 9. Okay, got excited. I thought it might be aces. So he check called the flop. He check called the turn. So yeah, he can have pocket 9s, he can have 10 9, he can have Jack 9, he can have 9 8, he can have 8 7. The not 8 7, sorry, 9 8, yeah, not 8 7. So there are quite a few of those, and he can have Ace Jack, but if he has Ace Jack there, he might even have aces, kings. Like, it's not impossible. So I think overall he didn't go. He can. He didn't. He didn't go too big, but still, I would need to be good just over 30% of the time, and I don't think I am. Like, sometimes I will be good here, but only because I beat some of his value. I just don't see any bluffs that he could have here. It's just that sometimes he doesn't know what to do with Ace Jack or King Jack, so he will bet them. But I suspect that he would bet them for less than half pot, and because of that, I think it is the right fold to make. And same with the kings there. In the other pot, I think I probably just got unlucky in both of these hands. So I don't mind that. Okay, so Gober says no audio, but it was a problem at his end, so that's all good. No problem. I mean, it was a problem apparently, but now it seems sorted, so all good. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Nice to have all of you here. Been going for an hour and 45 minutes now. Still going for quite a bit longer. We haven't even really reached halftime of what I'm planning to do. So stick with me. See if we can win some more pots. We had a great start to the day. I basically won every hand that I played from my first 45 minutes. But then the last 20 minutes or so haven't been quite that good. I lost a big pot with kings, I lost a big pot with queens. I bricked draws a couple of times, but we're still doing well. So yeah, I've made another video for my other channel, the Live Poker Guide, which I haven't made it yet, I've just scripted it. I'm going to release it soon though. And that is about like the strategy how to beat low life stakes, but it kind of applies to this game as well. And that is you can bet relentlessly for value until you face significant resistance. And that is what I just experienced here with both my queens and my king's hand. And yes, someone might exploit that, of course. But in general, that is quite a good tactic, and there's more to that video. Oh, sadly, now this guy 3 bets in the small blind, so I have to fold. Yeah, so there is more to that. So if you want to watch that video, just make sure to watch it. It'll probably come out in a few weeks. So that is quite cool, but in general, that is kind of the thing to do at low stakes and both in live poker and online poker. So here this is quite interesting. So this small blind 3-bet and now c-bet, probably range on this board. I think he is a reg. I've seen him 3-bet a few times now. So he seems quite the reggy side. Okay, I'm trying to limp again here. I've done it a few times. I'm getting raised again, but that's fine. That's okay. I will do the same. Like I didn't do it with the aces, I know, but there was a different dynamic. If I have aces now, I will do it again. And I will also check 3-bet with some light hands. So it's okay. I don't view it as having lost. I mean, of course, I've lost half a big blind there by calling, but I still think it's fine. Okay, here we can take a squeeze. And maybe Ludwig isn't a reg then, or he's trapping with something. We will hear from him soon if he is. That's good news that the original razor folded. But Ludwig called. So if he checks to me, I will start with a range bet. So going, we can go something like this. Quarter pot is enough. Here king 7 suited is a call. This flop would have been better from my other hand. And he folds on the right, which is good news. And this guy goes really big, and if he goes really big, I am going to fold. Is that Jurgen Klopp, by the way, in his profile picture? I don't know. Looks a bit like him. Well, I guess it's a poker player, but it looks a bit like Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, so now that we're approaching the end of the second hour of my 4-hour stream today, let's do a little more recap on Coinpoker because I have now doubled my experience on this site within an hour. So what I was saying an hour ago was that I think that Coinpoker is significantly softer than PokerStars. Of course, the sample size is still only 2 hours on 2 tables, but I do think the 50NL is significantly softer now that I have played even for a little longer. I think I can say that a little more with a little more confidence even, because 50NL on PokerStars you would get 3-bet and 4-bet all the time. There are regs everywhere. Yes, there might be a fish somewhere, but here I haven't really seen a lot of like amazing players. This is, I mean, they're not bad. I haven't seen a proper fish either, but there are players that can be exploited, and especially in combination with like the bonus that you get if you sign up here of 150%, and then you get a 33% rake back on everything. So with all that and the softer player pool, I think that this site is a no-brainer. And yes, I'm also saying that because I'm benefiting from it. I will make some money if you use my link below. I'm not going to deny that. Why would I? But I also say it out of conviction because I really do believe that this seems to be an amazing site, and I will say if this changes. So I'm not gonna be a shill and just say Coinpoker are the best if I don't believe that. And at the moment, I'm not saying they are the best because I haven't had enough of a sample size, but what I can say is that they are significantly, or the games are significantly softer than on PokerStars. That I can definitely say with a very good conscience from what I have seen so far. As I said, I will need to validate that in the next weeks, but for now, I can definitely say that, and I am kind of almost annoyed that I haven't made the switch earlier from what I'm seeing, because PokerStars, I mean, PokerStars was really good because it made me a better player. It definitely did. Those Zoom games, I got in a lot of hands, but they were quite swingy, and it was just like mental health wise not amazing, and also like bankroll wise, it quite frankly wasn't amazing. And here I have the impression that I can make a lot of money, or a lot more money than on PokerStars, and I think this would be the case for a lot of players. And when I played 2NL on Sundays, the 2NL felt slightly softer as well, I would say, although 2NL is quite soft on PokerStars too, and the rake is pretty bad on both sides, or on any side really for 2NL. I would never play 2NL for like to make money. Although I am going to try to start a new bankroll challenge from 2NL here on Coinpoker if you guys are interested. So let's see how that one goes. But yeah, I would like to do that. And yeah, but also I'm planning to play 50NL, 25NL, definitely also want to try 100NL, and let's see, maybe I can even play some 200NL, although I know there are a few other good pros that play 200NL. But from what I can see now, like even during the day, I mean, it's a Monday afternoon in Europe, and the games are good at 50NL. They're not like the most amazing ones I've ever seen, but they are good. Okay, so here now we had this situation again, and now I am going to c-bet, and because I limped, so by situation again I mean I limped. This was the fourth limp, and twice I got raised and I had to fold, and now this time I just made a c-bet and I took down the pot. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever played on Coinpoker. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the games, the softness, and so on, and also about other sites. So at the moment, I'm reviewing quite a few sites for Card Player Magazine for their YouTube channel, because I can't get enough. Apparently, I also make videos for the Card Player channel, and so I'm just reviewing PokerStars and 888 Poker and Coinpoker, and also I'm probably gonna do GG Poker, and then a few other guys will review a few more sites. But yeah, it's interesting to hear about any site, what you think about the softness. So I've heard the American facing sites are pretty good. I can't really join those from England where I live, so that's why Coinpoker is a great one if you are based in Europe, because this is a site where you have a lot of American facing players on it, and you can still access it from Europe, which is quite cool, and not only from Europe, but from Asia, from Africa, from South America, from Australia, from New Zealand, from, well, pretty much anywhere. If you have an internet connection on the South Pole, you can do that too from there. Okay, we're getting 3-bet here, which I do not love, so I am going to fold. Ace-9 suited, I don't want to 4-bet. A slightly better hand, I might have put in a cold, not a cold 4-bet, just a 4-bet. Sorry, it wouldn't have been a cold one. Would have been quite a warm one. Pocket sixes is kind of, I mean, I am gonna call now because of the ante. That's my excuse for a lot of things today. And also because we flop bottom set. Okay, he bets, what is that? Not quite half pot. Shall we raise on this board? I mean, if he has a king, he will call, and if he has queen jack, he'll call. If he has jack 10, ace 10, queen 10, 10-9, definitely king 10. There are quite a few hands there, and we're getting even re-raised, so I am... Is there merit in shoving? I don't think so. I think if I shove, he will just... but he's making it quite big now. So that's not a great card for me. Ace-Jack beats me now. Jack-9 beats me now. He checks and... Oh, I mean, this is like the very worst. Okay, here I am going to overbet this one. And here I'm going to go with a rather small bet. Hopefully getting called by two pair or king, which a king would be two pair basically. And when we get raised, I mean, he kind of has the ace now, and that is really super, super, super annoying. And here on, we are gonna go with a, well, he doesn't really have a lot of those. I am gonna, I don't really have the time to think much, but I have to fold this one. This is really super annoying. I don't think he would turn two pair into a bluff. I don't think he would really raise two pair there. So that was a very, very annoying run out that we had there. And speaking of annoying runouts, this is an annoying way of development here. So with our block bets, we're not doing very well here in this player pool. So here I have top pair. I block one missed flush draw. He could have the other one, but I'm not going to call this big all in. Unfortunately, now we are running a bit cold at the moment. I'm not loving this, but hey, what can we do? Why have we not... Oh yeah, now we are. For some reason it didn't reload in that hand. I don't know why, because I have the automatic reload function on. Yeah, just when I was saying how great things were here, this was happening. But I still think, yeah, I got very unlucky, like with my pocket sixes especially. This one was... Where are we? Here are the sixes. Like, such an amazing flop, and he could easily have had ace king there, and then obviously he has the nuts if he has ace king, or even if he has ace queen. Actually, ace queen kind of also makes a lot of sense, because he has a gut shot there. He can bet 3-bet me, then he picks up some showdown value, checks on the turn, and then on the river he's got the ace. So yeah, very, very, very unfortunate. Oh, speaking of unfortunate, we have ace queen, but there's a raise and a 3-bet, and I can't. I simply just can't 4-bet there, even though this guy is starting to 3-bet a bit much. Yeah. Oh, the guy showed me 4-4. No, I did not notice that. Thank you. Oh, wow. Okay, excellent. Well bluffed then. No, I didn't see that. Did he show me that hand? Oh, I completely missed that. Then that's why I'm talking so much about it. Okay, well then fair play to him. He really then just used my block bet as a way to bluff me there, but the run out was just so good for him that he could do that. But on the other hand, I mean, I could have had an ace there, but probably not. from his point of view, especially when I block bet there. So I think that's actually a good thing for him to turn his pocket fours into a bluff. I mean, like obviously it is a bluff, not doesn't have to turn them into a bluff, but that he shoves there or bets big at least, because I just can't call with a set there that I have, and I don't really have a lot of ace x hands. Yep, so I think I like that on his side. That's well done. That obviously for me not great there to have gotten bluffed. But yeah, that is quite interesting to see. Oh yeah, here he had pocket fours. I can see that now. So I am going to say that bluffed big on river, bet 3-bet, bluffed on flop. Interesting. Yeah, the flop one I'm not so sure that he really did well there with a bet 3-bet with his fours. But he just got an amazing run out for his range. So that's what won him the hand, and that's what cost me the hand. But like with any other river card than an ace, not an ace, sorry, whatever it was, the jack, yeah. Like any other card, even like the flush completer, like the ace, maybe like the ace also, but I think with the ace, if the ace comes, because then he could have a jack, but I still think then it's different. Then I will go bigger there, and then he won't do that. But okay, I'm gonna call with ace 5. Jack 10's a fold, and he raises me as expected. And this is the time when I will put in the back raise. 3.57, 14.2. Oops. What are we doing here? Oh, this is what I meant to do. Sorry. And we win it this time. Great. Yeah, brutal run out, he says, and that's exactly it. Like, it was really a brutal run out, but it's fine. It just happens, and I'm not at all concerned that I got bluffed there, because there was just such a good run out for his range that it's absolutely fine. In theory, I could say I'm annoyed that the run out was the way it was, but that's just how poker goes. And as I said, like with almost any other card on that river, I will scoop a big pot, and it just so happened that he bluffed me because of the bad, or as you say, brutal run out. Jack 8 suited, on Jack 8 offsuit, got lots of Jack 8 now. Ace Queen. Last time I had that, I got 3-bet. Yeah, so I think this guy, the small blind in this hand, he seems to be a reg. Aggressive 3-better. Okay, ace 9-4. We can go for a small c-bet against the big blind. And unfortunately, no action. I didn't want too much action with that hand, but I wanted some action. King, queen now. queen is a call. And decent flop for us. That's the guy with the pocket fours. That's great. So I am going to check to him again. And now he obliges, and now I'm going to check raise him. I think king queen is good enough for that. He calls. And now I think I can go for a big bet. How big though? Don't want to overbet this one, but we want to go something like 16 big blinds. He calls and he has ace queen. Okay, so I'm really running bad against this guy, but what can I do? This is it. Ace queen against king queen on a queen high board. He could have had queen jack, queen 10. He could have not believed me if he had jacks or 10s there. So I just ran bad. So yeah, the first hour I was running really good. The second hour and a bit now been running a lot less good. And I even value bet that river. I still think it's fine. I don't mind that at all. Okay, let's do our usual limp on this table. Getting 3-bet again. 3-bet, sorry, raised. And this time we can call. I know we're out of position, but that's fine. Okay, that's the ace. Really not great. And the king is absolutely not great either. And yeah, he rivered the king there. Okay, fair enough. But I still, I mean, I don't want to donk the flop. The turn when the ace comes would be just suicidal to bet there. And on the river, I would get called. So, like, whatever, it's fine. I just got unlucky once again in that hand, which is gonna happen. Here I want to raise the king queen off. Okay, so king 8 suited. That's the hand he isolated, or not isolated, but he raised me with when I limped in the small blind, just for future reference. Okay, come on, let's see if we can do some damage. 7-5 under the gun. Jack 10. Okay, let's give it a try. Very marginal in the hijack. But got it through. I'm just drawing my curtains now, as it's got dark. Holding Jack 7 off. It's a couple of pips below the bottom of my opening range. Okay. Can open a 7 suited for sure. Hey guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. Now is still a good time. As long as I'm getting dealt 8 deuce offsuit and 5-4 offsuit, I have all the time in the world to answer questions. 6-3 suited, not much better. Eight, 6 suited now in the big blind. Hopefully this could be a hand. Yeah, we'll play this one. Well, we're getting a walk. Yeah, so this table is actually not being great, I must say. Very nitty. And yeah, just not amazing. Wonder whether I should try to get onto another one. Okay, so if it folds to me, oh, it doesn't. Unfortunately, I was going to say if it had folded to me, I would have considered calling there because of the ante and because the big blind is the passive, honest player. I can actually write that as feedback. Oh, now we have pocket sixes. Similar. I am going to call this now. Normally, I would 3-bet, but on the button. I can sometimes flat if I expect someone else to call. And again, pocket sixes, this time bottom set on king queen 6. Okay, now on this board, yes, it is a bit drawy, but I am still going to just call. And if he bets again, I will just call once again. Ooh, he overbets this one. So he's saying he's got a king or better. So when he overbets, I'm definitely just calling. And this is not amazing because now we lose to ace jack. We obviously lose to kings and queens, but we have a set. So if he has any of these hands, good luck to him. And he did have ace jack. Oh my god. He did have ace jack and he got there in the end. Oh, this is just heartbreaking, guys. Ah, dear lord. This is just heartbreaking. What can we do? Yeah, it is what it is. I still think that we did everything right. And I don't think I can fold that river there. But yeah, he definitely is. What's that? The get there strategy is 100%. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Lol, he says. Yeah. Uh, well, I'm not gonna join this conversation. Oh, here, this guy. Well, for 2 big blinds, I would happily call, but I don't want to. The small blind because I still have to call 1.5. But yeah, I mean, this guy, what did he have? He had 4 outs. So, yeah, well, this is poker. So one time I get bluffed when I have a set of sixes, and the other time I get outdrawn by a 4-outer. But hey, that's fine. I think I played both hands fine. I have nothing to blame myself for. When he overbets the turn, I definitely am not going to shove or raise anyway there. I'm in position. That's all fine. So I can definitely tag him as an aggressive reg. Bet turn big with gut shot. Got there on river and shoved. Not that that is a surprise that he would do that. But yeah, I mean, that one, I think we can definitely call the cooler. Okay, King Jack going to limp again. Our usual strategy against this guy. And now, this time, I'm going to check. Normally I just c-bet, but on this board I don't really want to. Now we have a double gutter, and when we have a double gutter, we can bet, and we get the fold, so that's fine too. The thing is, like, you might be wondering why I keep limping here. So I'm playing a limp strategy on the small blind specifically against this player because he's quite honest and passive. And against him, I just want to play a lot of weak hands as well, and I need some protection for the weak hands. I can't be that transparent to raise every time I have a good hand and fold and limp every time I have a weak hand. King 4 off, I'm just going to fold to a 3.5x raise there. So that's why I keep limping with these hands, although I should probably incorporate some raises there. But then again, I also want to have limp raises in my range. And I might do that with a hand like ace jack, for example. So yeah, I think now overall we're not doing well. Well, not I think, I know it, because we were up about 100 and so big blinds at some point, but those two brutal hands, one both times with a set of sixes, they kind of not only killed my winnings for today, but they got me into negative territory. But as I said, all good. I am not the slightest unhappy about how I played. Not that I didn't make any mistakes, I definitely made some mistakes along the way, but I believe in those two hands I played them fine. Oh, that's interesting. Chopping it. Okay, King Jack. Would have opened it, but not playing it after under the gun opens. Yeah, I think this pool is definitely highly exploitable if you pay more attention. Like, I'm playing two tables and then I'm talking a lot, so I'm only probably just getting half of the things, but there are definitely some deeper exploits here, and I'm going to try to concentrate a bit more on those to see if I can spot a few more things. I've definitely spotted some things, like, as I said, my friend here to my left here on the right table, nothing happens or happened. I don't know what his full name is. The guy who looks like Jurgen Klopp, or maybe it is Jurgen Klopp. I still haven't figured that bit out. But yeah, so with him, I know that he is passive and honest, and I know that I can basically just bet either for value or as a bluff against him, and he'll let me know when when he has a hand, and then I can just ting. Oh, no action with queens this time. Maybe with ace queen then. No action at all with ace queen either. So now the games are getting a little bit nittier, a bit tighter, a bit worse than they were earlier, which is surprising. I would have expected that later on in the day in Europe and with the Americas waking up, or not waking up, but just like being more like daytime there rather than early mornings. I would have expected the games to get better, but they're not on these tables at least. But let's see. Sample size is still not very high. Okay, ace queen again. And ace king. Okay, So here we're going 7.5. Okay, let's do our very first 4-bet bluff of the day. I think sometimes you have to do that. You can't always just play for value. An ace queen off is a good hand for that. Here, unfortunately, this is not great. Oh yeah, he shoves. That is not great either. So having to fold my ace queen. And here I do have some showdown equity because I c-bet small. If he had checked, I would have bet, but now he overbets, so my ace king. I might still get bluffed, but well, whatever. Like if I had ace queen here, it would be a very different story. With ace king, it's just an easy fold, I think. Yeah, so still not going very well at the moment. The deck's a bit cold for me. Or it is quite hot, but then not hot enough, and someone else's deck is hot, or someone else's cards are hotter. But that's how poker goes. We know that. We're not worried. Come on, this Jurgen Klopp guy is now tanking. Probably lost his connection or went to the toilet. Yeah, and now he's holding us up on both tables. Okay, guys, we have to wait for him to wake up. Come on. Okay. God, he's got another minute on this table. That's ridiculous that they're giving him so much time. I think they shouldn't give him that much time, but anyway. We're here as well now. What's that? Oh my goodness. Right, well, in this case, I'm just gonna grab a glass of water. I'll be back in a few seconds, because I don't think anything will move until then anyway. Okay, I am back. And now it is my turn. Look, perfect timing. And we have ace king again. And this guy who 5-bet us earlier is in the hand again. So 7.5. And he calls. This time we have top pair, top kicker. So we can go for our usual range betting position. And when we have it, they fold. Or they bluff us. But that's all okay. King 10 off is not good enough, so that's a hand that looks better than it actually is. And that's why when you're in early position, you shouldn't open it. Even like on the hijack, I wouldn't open it. Okay, let's do the limping strategy here as well. Getting raised to 5 big blinds. Okay, if you raise to 5 big blinds, then I am out, and that is absolutely okay, because now I know I will do the same when I either have a hand, like for example these aces, and then I can limp 3-bet you. Okay, getting 3-bet here when we have aces, that's pretty good. So then we will definitely 4-bet this one. Let's go to something like 16. And here we're just gonna check. And the ace is a good card for our ace queen. Interesting that he overbets this one now. Right, so here we are going for a small bet. Nothing else to do than to call with the overbet. And sadly, he folds to our c-bet with the aces. It's not good. Okay, so he bets really big again. We did not filter his range at all. There are bluffs that missed, and also he could just have absolutely nothing. Of course, sometimes we will lose here, but I think we will be good at around 40% of the time that we need to have. And he had 2 pair. Okay, well, that's how it goes today. Not happy about it, but that's just how it is. I still think that's fine. Like, I can't fold that river even for the overbet. He overbet twice, I know, but with the draws missing and us not filtering the range. So just in case you're wondering why I continue talking about filtering. So filtering means that if I bet and he has to call, or not has to, but if he calls, that means that he has to have some sort of a hand. He won't call with nothing. So that's filtering. That means that his range is getting stronger. If we don't bet at all, which we didn't do after the flop, then it means that his range is unfiltered. So whenever he bets or he goes check check, that means that his range is not filtered. So it might be filtered in the sense that maybe he wouldn't bet mediocre hands or so, but there are still all the bluffs in there. So that's why he did that, and he got me there. But I still think it's okay. There is not that much I can do with my ace queen there. We're just continuing to run bad. Queen 10 offsuit could go either way. This time I'm taking the more passive action. And when he checks, we are definitely going to stab. And we'll take it. Okay, ace 9. doing this spiel again. And look at this. He just wanted to give up this time, which is why I'm not going to c-bet. Let him bet. And we're just going for bluff catching now. He might have 10-7 there, or now queen 10, queen 7, whatever. But I am still going to call. And I think I'm going to call the triple barrel as well. But he checks and mucks, so yep, that's what I expected. This is how I trapped him now, and that's exactly it. Like, he told me earlier that he really wants me to, or he wants to play dirty, so to speak. So when I limped in the small blind, he made 5 big blind. I had to fold because I only had a limping hand at that point. Now I had ace-9. I just did the same thing. I just limped, and he let me know that he didn't have a hand. He basically pre-ticked the fold button, the check fold, and because of that, I knew that he probably didn't have much of a hand. But then I flopped top pair, but instead of just c-betting and letting him just get away, what I did there was I just checked and gave him rope to bluff, and he did. And then he also even did that on the turn, where he then overbet with probably nothing. Maybe he had some draw. Okay, we have to call. It's not an amazing proposition. It's probably kind of break even. It's this guy who is quite aggressive. I'm just gonna fold. And I'm gonna fold to this massive 3-bet as well. Yeah, so the king 10 suited was kind of a tight fold, but I think it can go either way. And yes, he was a bit annoyed with me, so maybe I should have called because of that. But if he had made it a bit smaller, I would have called. But that was kind of like the price where I thought I don't want to get myself into too much trouble. Ace-8 suited, what a beautiful hand. And there is a raise from this guy who is quite aggressive, but we can still 3-bet him. So yeah, what do we know about him? Not much, only that he is aggressive. If we get 4-bet, we will fold this one. But he calls. Definitely starting with a range bet. 8 is good for my hand. And at this point, I think I can just check. Oh yeah, this is the guy who overbet with ace deuce there. He now goes half pot. What do we beat? Well, a bluff. Still think he doesn't have a huge hand. I mean, I only have a bluff catcher, obviously. Do I block anything significant? I mean, he can have spades, but it's unlikely. I think I still, like, for 25%, I will lose a lot here, but I still think, well, look at this, he had king 6 suited. Wow, that's actually a pretty bad hand. But okay, yeah, that was good. So he is capable of bluffing. He overbet twice when he had a really good hand, and when he bluffed half pot. So that's something we can note down. Overbet twice with 2 pair. When he bluffed in 3-bet pot on river, he chose half pot. pocket deuces under the gun. No. I would like to, but I won't. So Karam Daram says good luck, have giveaway, and I'd KP a prince. Not quite sure what that means, but yeah, thank you. Definitely need some luck here. Okay, now we're up against this player again. So now going to bet small, very much range, but definitely with the 4. If we get check raised, which we do, I have an easy call. We might be behind, but definitely calling. So this is the guy who did all that. So he's now saying that he has a queen, because I don't think if he has pocket 7s or so, I don't think he will bet. So I am going to call this one. And here I'm going to raise. And now we have a boat, but we still lose to the queen, obviously. And he... Okay, sorry, I need to c-bet range here. Can we ever get called by anything worse? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's why I'm just checking. And he had the flush draw there, yeah. Right, let's try this game here. So I am going to bet again. If he has an ace, he won't fold, but then I'll give up unless I make the nuts. Which, well, I kind of make the nuts, but also not at all. I made the straight, but really not the kind of straight I wanted. So I am going to bet this one. I am going to bet... Well, am I going to bet? No, I'm going to check this one. Because I just can't get value from much, I think. Like, yes, maybe a block bet, but... and when he jams now, he's telling me that he has the ace of diamond or the king of diamond. So, does he have the ace of diamond? How can he have? He can definitely have the ace of diamond. Can even have ace king of diamond. He can have ace 10 of diamonds. He can have ace king or ace queen offsuit with a diamond. And he called twice there, and he would have to turn something into a bluff, which I don't think he would. I mean, he could, but I don't think he would, so I'm just gonna be a nit and fold my straight here on this 4 flush. Like, I don't know this player enough to know whether he would be capable of turning ace queen or so into a bluff, like 2 pair, and I don't think he would bet that for value. And if he really has to find bluffs, they have to be some pairs and even 2 pairs, because unless he has like ace and like a small kicker or so, but normally he shouldn't have that. So yeah, that's again not good, not a good run out. Maybe it was even a call. I think it was close either way, so I'm okay with a fold. king 5. There are 2 kings on the board. So it would have been nice to just limp in here against Mr. Aggro. And look at this, I would have had a boat. Well, the button raised and then I couldn't really join the fray with king 5 off. Okay, king jack off on the button. Ace 9 off. Marginal opening in the cutoff, but with the ante, definitely worth it. King 9 off as a fold against the same guy. So I seem to be playing against the same players pretty much on both tables. Not quite, but nothing happened. Downy Wolf, Mike, and Pinga Armor are all the same. And then we have, oh yeah, and Derpy as well. So it's only this guy, MKO, and Jinlong on the other table that we're only seeing once. But that's okay. But it's interesting because I haven't played online poker without a HUD for quite a while. Normally on PokerStars I always use the HUD. So that is interesting. Now I do not have those stats on the players, and I really do think that it helps the players who play fewer tables, and it doesn't help the regs that much, because I think the more tables you play, the less you'll be able to understand what's going on, and the more kind of like GTO you'll have to play, and I think that's not exactly the way to maximize winnings at these stakes. Okay, Queen Jack off is a raise in the cutoff. You get called. Flop second pair. It's normally in GTO it's a board that I would bet either big or check. And exploitatively, I mean, you can do whatever you want. But with this hand, this is the most classic check ever. So we're basically hoping to get close to showdown without putting any more money into the pot. So ideally he checks this turn, we check behind, and then on the river we can see whether we want to bluff catch or value bet or just check behind. Yep, so that's good news that he checks. And we can check as well. And now we lose to King Jack. When we block the Jack, we still lose to an ace. We lose to some weird 2 pairs. And when he bets so small, there's definitely no reason to. Well, sorry, here on this one I'm gonna see bet small, and here just calling with a queen. And he did have king queen. Okay. Yeah, this is like we've had a few of those today where I just had the slightly worse hand and I paid them off. But these things will even themselves out. I'm not worried about that. Okay, the button calls us, which is not great. Definitely starting with a check here. He checks as well. We now have an open ender and a flush draw. Still want to check. And I mean, I'm not betting for value here, am I ever? No, so it's just a check. And to be fair, it would be a check fold, but he has pocket nines, so fair enough. Another one where he has just a better pair. But here, it's fine to open pre-flop, and then we didn't put any money into the pot after the flop. So that's all fine. Pocket deuce is still too early to open. Cutoff is definitely an open. But before that, even with the ante and the rake back, I think it's not an open. Cold calling 6 big blinds. Yeah, so that's why I mean here, the players are definitely not terrible in that 50 NL here. I haven't seen anyone really bad. But you can see that they're just not professional players. There are quite a few of them, like most of them here have been recreationals. No one's been really amazing. So I think for someone who really is a really good player, they could crush these stakes. Because, like, here, this guy, another big blind, cold call, the 3-bet. And, yeah, I mean, they still have some tricks up their sleeves, but they're not, like, amazing players. Here, calling with King 6 suited. I have a couple of backdoors, but not much. Now we do have bottom pair. Oh, we have bottom pair, we just check. And when he bets big now, after he skipped the flop bet, I will just fold. King 9 off, it's tempting against a 2x raise and with the ante, but I still think it's slightly not too bad, especially because we could be heavily dominated there. So, going to just fold. Okay, doing this one again here, calling against this guy. And now, just doing my usual c-bet. And he calls this time for the first time. That's interesting. Okay, well then I'm going to give up, I guess, because normally he just folds very quickly. So now it's becoming less likely that he has a king, but I don't think, unless I go really big, which I don't want to, I will just check and hope that he had a flush draw. But he had a 10. Okay, yeah, the 10 was to be expected there. And the thing is, I think if the king doesn't come on the river, he might believe more that I have a king. Okay, here I am going to 3-bet my king 6 suited. This is a low frequency 3-bet in GTO, and because of the ante, and because we have position, and hopefully because we're the better player, I decide to 3-bet this hand now. But when you get 4-bet, that is not exactly good news. So when you have a low frequency 3-bet and you get 4-bet, then you fold. And on the right table we have pocket queens. And we get called and we flop a boat. That's not too bad. Do I have any info on him? I do not. So let's start with a quarter pot bet here. He'll probably fold, but I still want. No, he did not fold. Well, that's good. So here I am going to c-bet this one. Well, he checks again. Now I am definitely going bigger. And now I want to get called by... Oh, so now if he has a 10... Okay, here I have to fold. Wow, he called. Okay, so ace king of diamonds beats me. King 9 of diamonds beats me. 9 8 of diamonds beats me. So those are the royal flushes, royal flush and straight flushes. We win against a lot of other stuff, and he might have jack 10, he might have a lot of other stuff. So I think here I want to jam. Because if he happens to have jack 10, king 10, queen 10, ace 10, a flush, then he will pay me off. But unfortunately, he folded. Dear, dear. So whenever we have it, we can't really get paid, and when others somehow miraculously hit the 4-outer on the river after they bluffed big on the flop and the turn, then we pay them off. But what can we do? That is it. This is how it goes sometimes. And this is definitely how it's been going today. So yeah, not been able to capitalize on our big hands. Not that we even had that many, but when we did, we just didn't make a lot of money. And they got there once. Well, so if you missed it earlier, 2 very interesting hands. Both times I flopped a set of 6s, and one time the run out was so bad that in the end there was king, queen, jack 10. I block bet the river, got jammed on and folded, and the guy showed me a pocket 4s for basically nothing. And the other time I had a set of 6s, a guy triple barreled, and then on the turn he had a big overbet with a gut shot, and he got there. So this is, he might still be doing it with nothing, but I don't even have a backdoor flush draw, so I'm just going to fold here. He is more on the passive side. That's why my king 9 of hearts on that board is not that amazing. Okay, here I am going to fold. 9-7 off is just not good enough to call under any sort of circumstances there. Okay, come on guys. Okay, I'm being a bit quiet now. Nothing happening, but hopefully soon we will get some hands. Hey, pocket sixes again. I was just talking about my two sets of sixes that I lost big pots with. And this time I am going to go for a 3-bet with them. The other two times I called both times. And this time, no set. But hey, maybe we do have a chance. I'm definitely going to range bet this board. Can get 7s and 8s to fold. Jacks, Jack 10 will call at least once. But we got him to fold whatever he had. So this is the way to play sixes. Just don't hit, c-bet and win. Rather than hit a set and then either get bluffed or outdrawn. 8-4 suited, we can easily fold. It's an interesting big pot here. This might be an all-in and a call. I it's not only any block bets the river, and the snap fold by this other guy. Interesting. No idea what you would call twice with and then snap fold. Because there were no real draws unless like 4 or 5 or so, or maybe some diamonds with backdoors, but even then you would think for a moment, I would guess. Ace-9 suited. What we'll do again is we'll 3-bet this guy once again. This time we are even on the button. We're going a bit bigger. He calls again. We flop bottom pair. And he comes out betting small, which is a bit weird. But I am going to just call. That's not great. Here I'm just going to bet with my 5 high. Get him to fold, great. He checked to me now, so that is good. Now I'm just going to turn this into a bluff, because I think he might be doing this with a queen. Pocket 10s maybe, pocket jacks. Okay, we got him to fold. Maybe we even had the best hand, but he might well have folded jacks or 10s there. So, happy with the outcome. Jack 10 on the button will fold. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, the players are by no means terrible. Like, I've not seen anyone limp all day, except in the small blind, and it was usually me. But they do a lot of unconventional things. They're just not big crushers of the game. So I definitely think there is scope in playing on the site, and I would highly recommend it from what I have seen so far. So as I said earlier, if you were watching, I do of course benefit from this. I am a partner of Coinpoker, but I would definitely not recommend the site if I didn't think that it was good. And I think it's actually great. So from what I can see, I have 3 hours of playing 50 NL under my belt now on Coinpoker. I played 2 hours of 2 NL, and both times I was very happy with the player pool, with the softness of the games. So definitely recommend it, and there is no better bonus out there than getting the 150% and that you can get here up to $2,000. So that really is a great way of boosting your bankroll. Also, the 33% rake back is really good. So that's all something that I really like about the site. So make sure to sign up, give it a try. Like, there is hardly anything to lose. Like with that 150% bonus, like even if you're a losing player, I have to fold my queen 10 here now. Even if you are a losing player, not if you are an absolute whale, but if you are a slightly losing player, you actually still make money with Coinpoker. That was my thinking. And I'm actually going to make a video about that, because here's the thing, like, you're getting, say you deposit $100 and then you get $150 extra, so you got $250 to play with it. So you can lose $150 of that and you're still breaking even. Actually, you're still making money because you're getting 33% rake back, and that also adds up to quite a bit. So, yes, if you are a big loser, then it won't. You will still lose money, obviously, although you'll lose less than if you play somewhere else. But here, I was just thinking, like, this is a real safety net in there. Like, you can't lose. I mean, you can lose money, but if you are careful and you just say you will never even pay more than that, then it's hard to lose that money in a given period of time. Obviously, if you play for years and you're always a losing player, then that money will disappear at some point. Like that's how mathematics works. But if you want to boost your bankroll, I think this is a really good way of doing it. Just add money to the side here, get the bonus, play for a bit, get some rake back, and yeah, you'll be fine. And if you want that, then use the code in the description of this video, so you'll get 150% up to $2,000, and then also rake back, and you can even play against me. And as I said, the player pool is softer than on PokerStars for sure. I don't know how it compares to GG Poker, but because the rake there is so prohibitively high, I would say that even if GG Poker is softer, which I'm not even sure if it is, but if it is, then I would still say this is a great way to play. Right, here we got called by two players in position pre-flop. Now we have to fold on this board with our king-queen. I opened king 5 suited because I noticed that two players were sitting out, so we were effectively in the hijack, and it was still a bit marginal, but with the ante, the rake back, and the two players being out, I thought, why not give it a try? And we got it through. So these min raises when there's an ante in play is just so tempting to call 9-7 off here. You call 1 to win 4. It's just I'm gonna do this now. It's just really like I don't know the exact thing because I've never really played with an ante, so I can't really tell. But it's still it looks pretty appealing to me. And here definitely calling with a gut shot and a pair. And here also calling. And here we have to check. And he checks, and he had the 8, we had the 7. Wow, he opened ace, 8-4 suited. Okay. Loose open from EP. Interesting. Alright, so this guy, the original raiser, didn't do anything. So, can we bet for value here? I don't think we can. I mean, we can. There are hearts that call us, but I prefer to go the check route again. I think no one has a king, but he could still have tens, jacks, or queens. And he can also have those hands, although it's unlikely. And then, depending on the river, I might go for a bet. Now, this I don't love, but he bets quite big, so he could have a king. It basically says king or better or nothing. I am going to call this one, even though we have this player behind, but I just think he most likely doesn't have a king or better. When he checks twice there, yeah, he just folds. And now the heart is like really annoying because if he was bluffing with a flush draw there, then we are now behind. So if he bets, I will have to fold. And the thing is, I don't even think he would necessarily bet a king there. And he bets big, and that's me done with a hand. That's Very unfortunate run out once again. I mean, we really have had such terrible run outs today. Like on 4 occasions. I mean, yeah, I've been playing for over 3 hours, but still, in over 3 hours, we've had 4 boards that ran out absolutely terribly for me. This wasn't even the worst. Okay, let's see. We will have to c-bet this one with our queen high, and I'm going to go on the bigger side. And we get it through. Pocket 8. Okay, there is an early position raise. I'm still going to 3-bet and isolate this player. We know him. He is the guy who overbet twice with 2 pair, and when he bluffed in the 3-bet pot on the river, he chose a half pot size. So he now 4 bets from under the gun, but we still have a call with this in GTO, and I think don't want to deviate from it either. And look at this, we have top set. Let's see what atrocities the board will get us. He c-bets quite small. Okay, well then we are just going to call here. The ace, I don't know if it's a good card for me, but he now bets a bit bigger. Can we get this in now? If he has a hand like ace-king, will he ever? I don't think. I'm just gonna go for that. Okay, so as long as he doesn't have aces or queens, but he jams, well, I'm gonna call. He might have aces there, but whatever. Ace-king, that's excellent. That's good to see. That's exactly what we wanted. So finally, now we got it back. Well, we got back what we lost against this other player, but still have quite a way to go. From his perspective about this hand, 4-bet pre, absolutely fine. Then on the flop, betting small is a thing, definitely. Probably just can't get anything to fold and he's out of position, but still, it's okay. I think even I would have made it a little bigger, but it's fine. And then on the turn, once he hits the ace there, he definitely is going for the bet. And look at this one here now. We have King Jack against these two guys, but I will be a nit and fold because this is not a good multi-way hand against these two players, and this is pretty good. Where are we here? We're open. We got called against this guy, so I am going to check. I'll check range there. He bets small. That's usually indicative of a bluff, which is why I only call. Normally I would have said I want to check raise there, but this guy, when he bets small, he prefers to, he does it when he bluffs. So do I want to? The thing is, like, if he has a queen, which I doubt he does, but I'm still just gonna check, and then I'll see, well, this river is pretty good for me. Now I basically have the, well, not basically, I do have the, well, not basically, he still can have pocket nines. I am going to donk this one now, and I'm going to donk it small, putting some nuts into my block bet and the donk, because I think I can get called by a pocket pair. Don't know, can I see what he had? He didn't show, sadly. So could I have gotten more money out of him? I don't know. But he seemed to have had something. Right, pocket nines will have to be a fold here. Pocket deuces are a call, but the nines will have to be a fold against the 3-bet there. sadly, and here I have an easy fold. Yeah, so back to the hand where the guy had the ace-king, so yeah, on the turn he definitely has to bet his ace-king there, and on the river it's getting thin because I don't know how much value he can get. Like he shoved there with ace-king on ace, queen, 8-7 and some other small card. Getting a bit thin because like what, like ace jack suited exactly or ace 10 suited are the only hands that I can call with that he beats. So ace king is, I think he can bet there, but just not shove. He's not going to get called much by worse. So there I think he made a bit of a mistake, but that's good for us. Oh, there is a raise already to 3 big blinds. Missed that one. I was going to raise, but I noticed it early enough. Yeah, look at this jackpot. When I started today, we were under 30,000. Now we're on 30,360. Would be nice to crack the jackpot. That's another benefit of Coinpoker. That they have this jackpot. I mean, I would never join a site for a jackpot. I know in live poker there are players who just sit down there hoping to get a jackpot, but that's definitely not something I would recommend doing. But it's really nice still when they have it. Also, it means that a lot of recreational players might play for the jackpot, and it's just nice if it ever happens. They're the closest I was ever, and I was really annoyed that time. So I played in a casino live poker every day for quite a while, and on that particular day I started at like 10 in the morning and I'd left at about 6:15 in the afternoon. And I'm not kidding, but about 15 minutes after I left, someone won the bad beat jackpot. And I don't know if you know, but bad beat jackpots and similar to the one here on Coin Poker, if someone wins it, everyone who plays poker in the casino gets a share of that. So it's not like life-changing money, but I think in my case it would have been over £1,000, and yeah, that would have been really nice, and I missed it by about 15 minutes. So king 10 off could be a hand that we might play. Yeah, definitely open raising it. Now we have a few other players on the table here. It's not all the same crowd that we've been playing for hours with. Poker deuces, the duckies. Definitely opening the duckies and the cutoff. Okay. So this guy here was a very loose opener, even from under the gun, but this is not a hand I want to get involved with. So guys, can I ask you a quick favor while you're watching this? Could you please smash that like button that shows the algorithm that people like it? Obviously only if you like it. If you hate this stream, then don't click the like button. Then just tell me in the comments what is not good, what you would prefer to change. So here I'm calling with pocket deuces on the button because We have loose players in the blinds, and I would hope that they would join. Could have, of course, raised as well, could have folded, so all three options are fine. And this is quite good, but what's happening now? I thought we were all called. What is going on? Yeah, we've all called. Right, so we missed it by a pip. King 7 deuce would have been much nicer. Let's see. I think I am going to turn this into a bluff at this point, because it's unlikely that someone has a king, and if they have 4s, 5s, 6s, even 8s, they might fold. And this guy did call, but now I am going to check, and because of the ace there, like if I had a king there, I would not bet, but now I can bet, and if he has a king, he might fold, but I'm going to bet this. I think I can get a king to fold, I can get a 7 to fold, I can get 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s. Well, not 3s. 3s would be a set. Okay, so this guy posted. So, and yeah, and it got through there. With my deuces, and I'm pretty sure my deuces were not the best hand. Oh, I want... Ooh, look at this flop. I meant to actually call with my 7-5 here, but I folded accidentally. 10-8 suited, just one position too far off the button to raise it. So we've got half an hour left. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I will be doing these more often, where I stream for longer sessions, because I used to only do this for like an hour or so, but I do want to do this for longer. I will mix them up. I will have 2NL, I will have 50NL, some 100NL, some 25 maybe, just getting a variety of stakes. And then also on my other channel, the live poker guide, I will do some Ask Me Anything sessions while I play, and I will also have giveaways. I will have sessions where I might play against my audience, where you can win tickets for tournaments. I will also play some tournaments. I haven't decided yet what and what stakes, and I'm not a tournament expert, but I'm quite interested in playing tournaments, so that should be interesting. Definitely a lot to come. I'm really looking forward to this partnership with Coinpoker. They're such a great company. I can really vouch for them. I've dealt with them, and more even with their mother companies, the company that bought Coinpoker. Like, I don't know if you're aware, but a few months ago, another big company bought Coinpoker, and I've been working with that company for a while. And I'm also working for Card Player magazine. And yeah, there are a lot of exciting things to come, and also for you. So it's not just like for me, I'm not just bragging here. These are things that you will also benefit from, because there will be these MTT tickets, there will be giveaways, all sorts of things, and I really look forward to having all of that and partnering with you. And yeah, you can already, even without those tickets, you can sign up for Coinpoker with the link below, where you get 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Okay, this is a fold. Okay, this guy, I mean, if I were like this guy here, T. Tosha, he keeps raising with two for min raising under the gun. And the one time I saw him, I forgot what he had, but yeah, I think it was 8-4 suited from like the low jack, and he keeps doing that. He's super loose. So if I were to his left, I would three bet him, and this is what Mike's doing now. I would three bet him relentlessly, but because I'm far from him, I can't do much. But yeah, that's it. He seems to call too loosely as well once he gets three bet, and then he folds when he has nothing. So this is the dream player to play against, but unfortunately I am not in the right position for that. The one time I called, I flopped a 7 and he flopped an 8, and that was the end of it. So here, limping with ace-9, just because I want to have a good hand to limp call with. 5 big blinds is quite a lot, but definitely calling. He will probably think I'm a fish now anyway. So now I'm just gonna check when I have 2 overs. He checks as well. I think with my ace high, I am okay to just check again. We have some showdown value. He now bets half pot. I am happy to just call once again. And the queen, I will just check once again. So, as I was saying earlier, we didn't filter anything. He did have the 6 there, fair enough. Okay, he got there, but I still think it was okay. We didn't filter at all. He had his entire range there that he raised with pre-flop, and we were actually ahead of him pre-flop, and then yes, on the turn we paid him, but we still had 2 overs, so it wasn't actually too bad. Once again, we got unlucky. This has been the theme of the day. Okay, let's see if we can get some playable hands here. Jack 10, well, not quite in the low jack. Hijack I might have considered, definitely cut off. Not there though. Ooh, ace king against ace queen. Poor Tosha. That's a bit of a cooler, although I didn't quite pay attention to see how the hand unfolded. Let's see if we can look at that. This might be quite interesting. So, what's happening? Everyone pays their dues. Okay, wait, what? So, I don't know who 3 bet, who 4 bet. I have to try to figure out how this works. Okay, Okay, 4-3 suited. Now Tosha is raising bigger, so that's red flags, alarm bells, all these things, but he gets 3-bet again, so then we have a fold. Otherwise I would have called with my 4-3 suited, and look at this flop. It would have been incredible for my hand, but unfortunately we had to fold after the 3-bet. But yeah, it was interesting to see, or it would be interesting to see what hand he does this with. But anyway, he just folds to the c-bet once again. Ace 9 after a raise is still a fold. Okay, ace 10 off. Let's try to make some money here. Could have actually gone a bit bigger with this guy in the big blind. That was a mistake, because if you have such a loose player in the big blind with your good hand, you can just go a bit bigger at 3x, and saw he snap folded whatever nonsense he had anyway, so I could have just made it bigger, because I don't think he has much price elasticity there. So do you like it when there is an ante in play or not? Let me know. Because I actually always said I don't like it, and the reason being that I just never studied that. Like all the charts that you see, they're normally with ante. But here on Coinpoker is the first time I'm actually coming across of it, except for tournaments, of course, but I'm talking about cash games. And I actually like it now, because it means that it just allows you to play a little bit looser, and that just means you play a little more hands. Oh, and this guy, I didn't even notice it earlier. He complained. He said, of course he hits a set in 4-bet pot with 8-8. Yep, I did there. That was my biggest hand of the day, and it was kind of a cooler. I'm sorry for that, buddy, but I got coolered several times today. That's just what happens. Okay, let's go. I want a couple more big hands before we wrap this one up. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about an ante in cash games. Would really be interested in finding out. Okay, King Jack suited. I mean, I'm just gonna call here, but I think I'm way ahead of his range. But didn't want to 3-bet quite against an early position open. Now, could have considered raising my king jack, but I'm okay as it is, and this is just not great. And we basically don't beat any jack except if he has like jack 6 or so. So I can't get any value here. So now I have to call, like, yes, he can definitely have me beat here, but I have to be good about 28% of the time or so, and I think I am good. Well, I don't know how much, but around 40% or so. And, well, he had the 7. Look at that. Well, speaking of bad runouts today, it's just like constant. Like, yeah, well, it's not true. I did have a set of 8s when I coolered the guy with ace king, but still, I think this is just annoying that I got drawn out like that with runner once again. Well, at least we paid some more rake and we're getting some more rake back. See the positives. Although obviously I would have preferred not to lose the pot and not to pay the rake. Oh, so this guy has now moved here. He is the one who complained that I hit the set in the 4-bet pot. Pocket nines in the big blind. That'll be an interesting one to play. Okay, there is a raise in the cutoff to 3 big blinds. And there's a call there, and because of that, I am going to 3-bet squeeze this one. I would have just called, but I don't want to be in a 3-bet pot, even though I do like having this guy in the pot, because I think he's probably a recreational player. Look at this, now he just jammed on me. Okay, I botched this one, but I didn't want to just play for a set there, which is what I would have had to do otherwise. So I decided to go for a 3-bet, and then yeah, his jam there can be ace king, kings, queens, jacks. Like, it's little that I beat. Yes, I'm ahead of ace king, and maybe he has some other ace x hand or so, but still I think the fold is correct. And the 3-bet was also fine. I think the squeeze there, because my hope was that this other guy would call. Maybe he would have. Then I would be playing a bigger pot with pocket nines against one bad player. I mean, I don't know how bad he is, but he doesn't have a full stack. He cold called pre, so I think he is probably more on the recreational player side. Right, this is an interesting one. I am just going to check. This is a big bet or check board. We have the second non-pair nuts. So we can now just check and look at this. Now we do have the nuts. And I just don't really think we can get a lot of value here. Unfortunately, no value at all. Which probably means we were ahead all the time. Okay, let's try this again. This time he checks. Okay, then this time we can go for a c-bet. And he folds. Yeah, so limping in the small blind is definitely a thing in GTO. And I didn't used to do it on Zoom at PokerStars, but I think here with the ante in play, you want to play almost your entire range from the small blind if it folds to you. But you don't want to raise your entire range, so you want to limp a lot of hands, like for example 10-5 offsuit. If I had that one, I would want to limp that. And because you want to limp so many hands and you don't want to limp fold every single time when you get raised, you have to have hands that you limp call with, and you have to have hands that you limp raise with. So that's why if I do this, if I have a hand like, well, ace queen or pocket kings or so, I would limp and then limp raise with. Okay, let's raise it up. Getting quick folds, but one raise, one call. So here I am gonna go for a rather big bet on queen 10-7. There are a lot of hands that connect with here. Going to overbet top pair top kicker now. Can have king queen, queen jack, jack 10, king 10, king jack. And now we have to decide what to do on the river. Either call, no, he gives us the option. Can we go for another street of value here against this guy? I think we can. Just under half pot. I still think there is enough queen x that we can beat, and I don't think, well, look at this. I said I didn't think that he would check raise me. Now I'm in a world of pain. I went for a thin value bet and now he just jams on me. So 60, 140. I have to call 60 for 140. That's better than 2-1. What bluffs does he have? He does have some bluffs, but I don't think he has a lot. And normally he is not the type of player that would do that, is he? Do I really want to? Bluffed in 3-bet pot on river, he chose half pot. But I would have to turn. I'm tempted to call this one. Because he would have to slow play 2-pair or better here. And I just don't think he would have the discipline for that. So I'm just gonna call. And he had 2-pair, he had 10-4. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Well, he got his money back from when I had the eights there. I just didn't see, like, apart from queen 10, I didn't really see what 2 pairs he could have. But oh my god. Okay, well, I completely got owned in this hand, and yeah, that's okay. That is okay. I did not expect that, but that's okay. That's quite a bummer to go out with, but that's okay. I will learn from that. So I did not expect that. He is just such a loosey-goosey, and then he got there on the turn on this hand with 10-4 suited. And I should normally know better to just fold there when you get check raised, but I just didn't believe him in this case. And that's usually what I tell people not to do, because that's just bad poker. But now I kind of fell foul to it myself. Fair enough. This is what's happening. But it's actually really good to see about the player pool how weak they are, that they would do that with 10-4 suited there to call my raise, and then. But yeah, fair enough. Like, I mean, he didn't like. I overbet the turn, and I think it was actually too thin to go for a bet on the river in the first place. I think that was the issue that I had there. I didn't quite think it through. I think that was the actual mistake that I made. So fair enough. He got me there. That was a mistake that will haunt me in terms of bankroll, but that is okay. It's the end of a 4-hour session where I was tired. I'm not tilted, actually. I wasn't tilted before then. I'm not tilted now, so I'm okay. I'm fine, but I still made a fairly big mistake there. And let's end it now. This was the last hand, so thank you very much for watching.